Hello, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. The Assembly of First Nations Special Chiefs Assembly is underway in Ottawa today. The three-day event brings chiefs from across the country to vote on resolutions affecting nations from coast to coast. A top issue on the plate today is Prime Minister Mark Carney's pipeline MOU with Alberta. Savannah Craig joins us live from the Assembly of First Nations to tell us more. Savannah, how are chiefs responding to this potential pipeline?
There's a lot of contention over this pipeline. Nothing but a dream. That's what one chief had to say this morning at the Assembly of First Nations. Others took the mic, vocalizing their concerns over their rights being undermined through the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, that was signed last week between Alberta and the federal government. There's also concerns over potential environmental catastrophe if the oil spills. An emergency resolution was put forward this morning demanding that the federal and Alberta governments fully uphold the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. It includes allowing First Nations to participate in decision-making affecting their rights. The resolution also affirms the Oil Tanker Moratorium Act. This is a federal legislation that was put forward a few years back, restricting oil tankers carrying more than 12,500 tons of crude oil from stopping, loading, and unloading in ports of British Columbia's north and central coast. Also this morning, we heard from National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nippanak, who addressed the Assembly of First Nations, saying that First Nations rights have been wiped away with this MOU between Canada and Alberta. She also says that First Nation rights will not be overridden.
So, Savannah, what can we expect this afternoon?
Well, in a few hours, Prime Minister Mark Carney will be visiting the Assembly of First Nations to make his address. Some chiefs have said that Carney has left First Nations over important decision-making. We're likely to see this topic be brought up. I'll keep you posted on how this goes and how the Prime Minister is received amidst contention over the MOU and the pipeline.
Good stuff. Thanks so much, Savannah.
Thanks, Dennis.
And as you can see, they're on lunch over there right now, but you can tune in live on our APTN News YouTube page. To the East Coast now, where Nova Scotia Eskasoni RCMP have charged a 21-year-old man with 10 child sexual abuse and exploitation material offenses. Earlier this month, police responded to a report that a man was causing a disturbance at a home and learned the man tried to gain entry to see a youth. The police say he began a relationship with the youth last September, which started online. Police arrested him at his home in the Bolidek First Nation, where they seized an electronic device. He's in custody and set to appear in Sydney, Nova Scotia Provincial Court on December 16th. RCMP believe there may be more victims and are asking anyone with information to come forward. The Mi'kmaq-Listigouche Police Department has opened a missing person file for a 32-year-old man who has been missing for over 2 weeks. Listigouche Mi'kmaq Nation is located in Quebec, across the Restigouche River from Campbellton, New Brunswick. Dylan Barnaby was last seen in the evening of Friday, November 14th. He was wearing blue jeans, white sneakers, a dark black-blue jacket, and a white winter hat. Barnaby also wears prescription glasses and has tattoos on both forearms. He may be driving a 2019 gray GMC Sierra, license plate AGT 43X, that is missing the rear tailgate. Police say Barnaby's family and friends are concerned about his safety. Anyone with information is asked to contact Listigouche Police Department. An apartment building near downtown Yellowknife is officially reopening its doors after sitting vacant for a decade. NWT Housing, the corporation responsible for social housing, says the project puts them one step closer to their goal of moving away from private market rentals. Our reporter Charlotte Moore-Jacobs takes us on a tour.
This newly renovated 36-unit building on 51st Street in Yellowknife is expected to offer new beginnings for dozens of people. A mix of 1- and 2-bedroom units for social housing tenants, something Yellowknife City Mayor Ben Hendricks welcomes.
Not long ago, this building was empty and aging. Today, it's ready to open its doors as safe and stable homes for Yellowknifers who need them.
Over the last 2 years, NWT Housing has been working on modernizing the Aspen Apartments. Formerly federally owned, NWT Housing acquired it along with $7.9 million from the feds back in 2023. Director of Infrastructure Services with Housing NWT, Daniel Corver, says it's a testament to the ability to invest in existing infrastructure and, with funding, get another 25 years out of it.
We went into this project with pretty good confidence that we weren't going to run into any structural issues or mold issues. We did extensive mold sampling in here as well. So I think on this one we learned that this was a good building. And
clients will see improved safety features with ventilation, a security system, and energy-efficient utilities.
While the auditor can raise the issues, the accountability lies with the corporation.
In October, the Auditor General gave a failing grade to NWT Housing, finding the corporation didn't ensure residents most in need of shelter had equitable access to public housing, nor did they properly manage the condition of their units. The GNWT accepted all the recommendations. While Aspen Apartments doesn't actually add any more public housing client spots, it will significantly improve the quality of those spots as NWT Housing moves clients housed in private complexes, often older buildings in dire need of repair. Minister of Housing Lucy Kuptana says this move will also ease pressure on the city's rental market.
The less we pay and the more we add to our housing stock means more affordable housing throughout Yellowknife. So we're not paying a private landlord to rent units. We are actually complementing by adding public housing units into our stock here in Yellowknife.
There's roughly 300 people on the housing wait list in Yellowknife. Charlotte Moore-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation. If you have a story you would like to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. You can read and watch our stories by visiting our website, aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. A First Nation in northern Manitoba has a new state-of-the-art hospital. We'll bring you a tour of the facility after the break. Welcome back. We take you now to the Norway House Cree Nation in northern Manitoba to tour the new state-of-the-art hospital that leadership advocated for over 20 years to get. Well, it's opened its doors in October 2024. Not all of the departments are fully functional yet. APTN's TR Wheatley explains.
The Nanantaway-Weegamik Center of Excellence opened its doors over a year ago, but behind the scenes, leadership continued to build capacity. Councillor Dion Clark says Norway House Cree Nation took the lead in getting this building up, using their own source of revenue and finding creative ways to combine health, education, and employment and training dollars. Only after they did that is when the federal and provincial governments pitched in.
So we worked closely with other major partners and had our own people start building this place. Everything from electricians, the flooring, every facet of this area, the mechanical side of stuff. So, because it's our people will be here to maintain the building and to continue the operation of this building.
It replaced the old hospital built in 1952 that was run by the First Nations and Inuit Health Branch.
Now I understand.
One of the much-needed departments in the Nanantaway-Weegamik Center is the Renal Health Care Unit. Clarice Hutchings has specialized in renal health since 2020. She's often had to educate people about her department.
They think it's just a machine that a nurse just runs, that you slap a patient on and that's it, but it's way a bigger role than that. All the medication, their blood work, their electrolytes, their diet, We have to look at all aspects, and then there's all their other issues that come up because there are patients, they can have other illnesses happening, pneumonia, or they could have a diabetic foot ulcer, they could have an eye issue, they could have gastritis where they're vomiting and diarrhea.
In the past 5 years alone, she's seen over 20 people have had to move to Winnipeg for dialysis. She hopes one day soon they can come back home. Currently, the capacity only allows for 8 patients 3 times a week for 4-hour visits. But they are working toward taking on 24 patients. In order to do that, though, they need more staff. Hutchings says her patients tell her they are grateful because they are cared for at home by their own people who are all fluent in the Cree language.
I've only been doing this for 5 years, and I can see a lot of the psychosocial aspects of what the patients go through. And being in the city is not always the best thing. And they tell us, imagine being away from your kids, your grandkids, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles.
There is also an emergency room, primary and inpatient care here as well.
Hi. Hey, Joy. How's it going?
Specialists like this physio doctor and others such as dermatologists, pediatricians, cardiologists, and orthotechnicians come into the community. Beverly Chartrand works with the specialists both on the ground here and through telehealth. Where patients get to have virtual one-on-one time with their doctor.
Some people don't know what telehealth is, but once they find out about it, they like it because instead of driving 8-9 hours out of town to go see a specialist for 15-minute appointments, they like it better because it's a long waiting list to see them in a city, and then they could see them faster here.
So this is a second birthing room.
Another vital part of the Nanantaway Weegamik Center is the birthing unit. While it's not officially open yet, Loretta Bayer says they continue to build its capacity, including trying to recruit staff and secure funding to pay them.
We have a birthing tub, we have a neonatal resuscitation, and we have 2 birthing rooms. So there's room for the family to spend the time here to support. The system has medicalized birthing for many years, and as a result, we've had to go into confinement. And you know what confinement is? It's almost like being in isolation in jail or something like that, but we have to leave our community for at least a month.
Bayer says the stress on the mothers has often resulted in premature births and other serious conditions, something she and others hope will change with this new hospital and other community initiatives.
We plan on building birth homes or adapting homes to be birth homes to provide a safe place for those individuals who feel threatened, perhaps through family violence or different things like that, to be in a safe, calm place to be able to carry their baby to gestation.
Norway House continues to work with their partners to get this birthing center on the go. They hope to have their birthing model done by the end of the fiscal year. TR Wheatley, APTN National News, Norway House, Cree Nation.
Thanks, TR. The Morrisseau project is continuing in Saskatchewan. The digital collection of Norval Morrisseau's work is expected to grow as a new team of researchers are set to take on the task of finding Morrisseau's work and learn about his life. Video journalist Rachel May spoke with the gallery's CEO, now the sole steward and manager of the collection.
Norval Morrisseau is the Anishinaabe artist called the grandfather of contemporary Indigenous art in Canada. Research into his work will continue following a move to the Mackenzie Art Gallery in Regina.
We're so excited to have this support to make sure that we can not only get all of the research that hasn't yet been made public out there in the future, but to continue looking at that legacy, continue doing that research and producing new insights into this important legacy and impact on Canadian and international art.
John Hampton is the CEO of the Mackenzie Art Gallery, which will now house the Morrisseau project. The project began at Carleton University in Ottawa in 2024 and brought together curators and researchers from across Canada to create a free public online database. Hampton says it's exciting to see an Indigenous artist celebrated this way.
So to be able to celebrate these voices that really emphasize family, community, the interconnection of artists and minds and spirits, and how that gets channeled into this work that is about broader movements and histories and where we're going, rather than being solely about one individual who is doing this all on their own.
The collection holds about 3,000 items, including artwork, stories, letters, and videos from Morrisseau's life. Westerkirk Works of Art, who collect and preserve Indigenous art, created the Morrisseau Project Fund, an endowment that allows the Mackenzie Art Gallery to hire a team to grow the collection. The team will research, authenticate, and share what they find about Morrisseau's works and life. Hampton says the fund ensures research and curation will continue for generations to come.
But the gift from Westerkirk is held at the South Saskatchewan Community Foundation. So they gift an amount that is managed by the SSCF, and then every year then we receive the interest from there. They invest it and provide the interest. That makes sure that this work can happen in perpetuity.
The digital database is available at morrisseaustorylines.com. The Mackenzie Art Gallery hopes to offer a physical way to view the collection in the coming years. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
Time now for a look at one of this week's web poll questions. And it's AFN related, as we're asking if you feel the Assembly of First Nations is representing the priorities of grassroots people. Yes, no, sometimes, or unsure are your options. You can go to our website, aptnnews.ca/poll to cast your ballot. A major music competition was held in Nunavut over the weekend. Details on Panarctic Vision still to come. Welcome back. Here's a look at your current conditions. -7 in Fredericton, +3 for Halifax. -12 in Kuujjuaq and Nain, 10 below in Cartwright. Snow and -7 in Montreal, 10 below with flurries in Chibougamau. -6 in Sault Ste. Marie, 7 below in Ottawa. -8 with snow in Thunder Bay, snow and -9 in Sioux Lookout. -23 at this hour in Churchill, 11 below for God's Lake. -11 in Winnipeg, snow and -10 in Dauphin. -7 in Regina, sunny and 11 below in Saskatoon. -12 in Meadow Lake, 29 below in Stony Rapids. In northern Alberta, -9 in High Level, 11 below in Fort Chipewyan. -2 in Edmonton, +1 and cloudy in Lethbridge. 5 in Vancouver, +2 in Kamloops. +2 in Prince George and Smithers, -2 in Dease Lake. -20 in Old Crow, -3 in Whitehorse. 8 below in Yellowknife, -13 in Norman Wells. -16 in Sax Harbor and Paulatuck. 21 below in Chesterfield, -31 in Cambridge Bay. -17 for Resolute and Igloo Lake. Panarctic Vision 2025 came and went this weekend. And as Justin Hardy tells us, the event celebrated traditional and modern culture from around the Arctic.
Panarctic Vision, named after the popular Eurovision competition, aims to connect regions and cultures that circle Canada's North Pole. In total, 9 acts were competing for one of 3 top prizes. Many contestants combine traditional and modern performance to really show off their region. Among the performers was Nunavut's own Shauna Sitinak, who performed her song, Healing. Despite being relatively close when viewed on an Arctic-centric map, most of the performers had to travel a long way to get here. Some traveled for more than 30 hours. Director Amin Sholeh-Sven says once everyone did make it to Iqaluit, the welcome from the community has been exceedingly warm.
Yeah, we have had invitations, absolutely. We've done some short hikes, but we've been working a lot inside here, of course. We took all the artists on a bus ride around town. I know some of them have been out hiking today even. Yeah, and earlier in the week with the crew we came a bit early, so we also managed to go on a short hunting trip.
There were 3 categories that contestants were competing for. The winner of Most Arctic Song was Sena from Saco Republic. Her performance featured traditional mediums like throat singing, drumming, and a mouth harp mixed with modern music. Icelandic punk band Gedbre took home the prize for Most Revolutionary Song. Bassist Austadish says she's glad to see the competition split into multiple categories to better encapsulate the Arctic.
To have something with community, the most Arctic, which is most traditional, and then the revolutionary, because this is a very political event, and we're proud to have won that category.
Linus Johnson of the Sapmi region in northern Norway won for song that gives the most feeling of community and togetherness.
I was a little unsure if that my song fit those 3 categories, but it did, and now won that. Very fun.
The night also saw the decision on where the 2026 Panarctic Vision will be held. The next host region will be the Faroe Islands, located between Iceland and Scotland. Justin Hardy, APTN National News, Iqaluit.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Justin. In just 3 years, OG Cree multi-instrumentalist Ace Inabe has released 3 albums and made history at the 2024 Juno Awards. Tonight on an all-new episode of Face to Face, he tells us how this historic win for Songwriter of the Year at the Junos messed with his head and his writing process for a few months.
When I got the Songwriter of the Year award, I remember for a few months, every time I'd try and write a song, I'd be like, Songwriter of the Year wouldn't write that. And then I just got in my head about it, but then kind of recognized that it was my peers and colleagues and fans and music appreciators who just kind of were recognizing what I was doing. But then I thought about that, and I just looked at who else won that award. And it was pretty wild, because there's only 50 people who've won it. Right. One of them's The Weeknd, Shawn Mendes, Leonard Cohen, Alanis Morissette, Gord Downie, I just get to be one of those people, which is pretty wild.
That's it for your first look at the day's news. A reminder, you can watch the AFN Special Assembly live right now over on our APTN News YouTube page. And I will be back here tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with a look at all of the day's news. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy Miigwech. Thanks for being with us. Have a great afternoon.